chosen one. Do not scroll. Do not look away. This message finds you tonight because heaven has issued an instruction with urgency. Before the morning comes, this word must enter your spirit, or it will be withdrawn, and the window it opens will close. You are not reading by accident. You are reading because you have been chosen, set apart, marked for a turning that will not wait for your hesitation. Every time you ignored the warnings, God watched. Every time you cried in silence, God recorded. Every time you wondered why the fight felt heavier on you than on others, heaven whispered, "Because this one is mine." Now the hour has come. This is not comfort. This is a command. This is not a suggestion. This is a summons. As it is written in Habakkuk 2-3, "For the vision awaits an appointed time. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." Tonight is that appointed time. If you feel your heart trembling, do not silence it. If you feel heat in your chest, do not dismiss it. If something inside says, "This is for me," then listen because it is. Do not let fear talk you out of destiny. Do not let doubt steal what God is releasing. Do not let the enemy convince you that this is a coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence under heaven. Hear me. Your life is about to shift. Your identity is about to rise. Your spirit is about to wake. And if you believe this word is yours, comment 777 and declare, "I receive what heaven is opening." Like, share, and subscribe so this message becomes the seed of your change. The door stands open, but only for a moment. Are you ready to step through? You were not chosen because you were the strongest, the loudest, or the most prepared. You were chosen because your soul carries a depth that heaven can shape, a sensitivity that darkness cannot extinguish, and a resilience that even you have not fully recognized. This is not flattery. This is divine strategy. Your pain was not random. Your battles were not wasted. Your tears were not ignored. Every pressure in your life was shaping a capacity that ordinary people cannot hold. C.S. Lewis once wrote in The Great Divorce that the souls closest to heaven are often forged through the fire of honesty, where illusions burn away and only truth remains. The suffering you endured stripped away illusions about others, about yourself, about the world. What was left was the core heaven could work with. This is why you were separated. This is why certain people could not stay. This is why certain doors closed violently. You were being pulled away from environments that could not carry your calling. Lewis also warned in the Screwtape Letters that the enemy's greatest weapon is distraction, to keep a person from discovering who they truly are. That is why your life felt constantly attacked, delayed, or shaken. It was never because you were weak. It was because you were dangerous to the plans of darkness the moment you awakened. You must see the pattern clearly now. When lesser souls collapsed under bitterness, you searched for meaning. When others rejected truth, you longed for it. When many turned inward in selfishness, you turned toward compassion. Heaven chooses vessels that can hold clarity, courage, and conscience. That is you. Your discernment is not accidental. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. Your longing for justice, truth, and purity is not weakness. It is evidence that your spirit is aligned with a higher reality. And because you carry this alignment, heaven has assigned you a path that requires revelation, not comfort, endurance, not approval, transformation, not ease. You were never meant to blend in. You were crafted to awaken, to perceive, to rise. This is why the message reached you tonight. This is why the timing is exact. This is why heaven speaks to you indirectly, yet unmistakably. Now that you see the truth, do not shrink from it. Step into the identity that has been waiting for your recognition. The chosen are never chosen by accident. They are chosen by design. The body never lies. Long before the mind admits the truth, long before the heart is willing to face what it fears, The body has already written the story. Every tension, every sleepless night, every trembling breath is a testimony of what the soul has tried to bury. Nothing is hidden in the realm of the spirit, and the physical world always reveals what the inner world refuses to confront. This is why Scripture declares, "For nothing is hidden that will not be revealed, nor anything secret that will not be made known." Your body carries the proof of every wound you survived, every betrayal you endured, every moment you stayed strong when you should have broken. But it also carries the evidence of your purity, your resilience, your refusal to become what hurt you. While others lived in denial, your body absorbed reality honestly. While others ran from truth, your body bore it with quiet dignity. This is not a weakness. This is spiritual accuracy. The body is the first prophet of a person's life. It exposes internal deception. It amplifies spiritual conflict. It displays the consequences of choices made in the hidden places. For those who deceive themselves, the body becomes a battlefield. For those who walk in truth, the body becomes a witness. You have felt heaviness not because you were failing, but because your soul was carrying weights that did not belong to you. You have felt anxiety not because you were unstable, but because your spirit recognized danger before your mind could name it. You have felt exhaustion, not because you lacked strength, but because you were fighting battles meant for someone else. Understand this. The body responds to spiritual realities with perfect clarity. Every ache speaks, every pressure signal, every moment of unrest is a message. You are not being punished. You are being informed. And now you are being awakened. Your body has been trying to tell you what heaven already sees. You were never meant to live in shadows, never meant to carry other people's chaos, never meant to endure environments that poison your peace. The truth is rising within you, and your body is testifying, so your destiny cannot be denied. The people who hurt you, who mocked your kindness, who twisted your intentions, who used your loyalty as leverage, they did not escape the consequences of what they sowed. They may have walked away as if untouched, as if invincible, as if their actions carried no spiritual weight. But heaven does not measure as humans measure, and the body does not forget what the soul refuses to confess. Every act of cruelty writes a line in the flesh. Every deception leaves a mark beneath the skin. Every manipulation becomes a shadow that follows the one who created it. The ones who wounded you are now contending with the very energies they released, not because you wished it, not because you cursed them, but because the universe God designed is governed by truth, and truth always returns to its sender. Their bodies have become the mirror they tried to avoid. Their minds no longer rest, because secret wrongdoing does not let the conscience sleep. Their hearts beat with an unrest they cannot explain, because pride and malice corrode the inner world. Their strength fades because sustaining a false image requires more energy than honesty could ever demand. They wear a polished face, but deep within, the structure is cracking. They speak confidently, but their nerves betray them. They move through life, hurried and agitated, for a soul in disarray can find no genuine peace. Every time they lied about you, something inside them tightened. Every time they humiliated you, something within them weakened. Every time they dismissed your worth, their own worth diminished. Every time they played with your heart, their own heart fractured. These are not punishments. These are consequences. This is not revenge. This is reality. The body is simply revealing what the soul has long concealed. This is why their smiles look strained. This is why their eyes appear restless. This is why their energy feels unstable. They are not cursed. They are colliding with the truth they tried to escape. And as their internal world collapses under the weight of their choices, remember this: it is not your burden to fix them, rescue them, or return to them. You were not called to carry the consequences of their actions. You were called to rise beyond them. Their downfall is not your responsibility. Your ascent is your assignment. There is a moment in every hidden life when the night turns against the one who misused the light. The ones who wounded you are now entering that moment. Their decline does not begin with a dramatic collapse. It begins quietly, silently, ruthlessly, when sleep abandons them. Night, which once felt harmless, now becomes the hour of confrontation. Darkness no longer hides their deeds, it exposes them. Silence no longer comforts, it interrogates. The mind that once manipulated others now turns inward and questions itself with a sharpness they cannot silence. Their bodies refuse to drift into rest because rest belongs to the truthful, not the deceitful. Every time they close their eyes, scenes replay words they twisted, hearts they damaged, trust they violated. The mind they once weaponized against you now wages war against them. They toss and turn, searching for positions of comfort, but the soul in conflict offers none. Their thoughts race because wrongdoing requires vigilance, lies demand maintenance, cruelty feeds on constant attention. They cannot rest because the life they built is a tower balanced on fear, ego, and pretense. This is the beginning of their unraveling. Sleeplessness is not merely a physical condition. It is a spiritual indictment. The body keeps a record of all things buried. Now, at night, those records rise. They rehearse fabricated victories, but the triumph feels hollow. They imagine arguments where they must defend their actions, but the defense grows weaker each time. Doubt creeps in, then guilt, then a quiet terror that they cannot name. The same silence they used to weaponize against you now turns and reveals who they truly are. Their hearts beat too fast, their breath shortens, their muscles stiffen, their racing thoughts feel like punishment, but they are not being punished, they are being exposed. When truth is violated long enough, the body refuses to cooperate with the lie. Meanwhile, their waking hours suffer. Fatigue sits on their shoulders. Paranoia clouds their decisions. Irritation becomes their companion. They lash out for no reason, because an unrested soul becomes a restless force in the world. They believed they harmed you without consequence, but consequence has begun its work not through vengeance, but through the natural order God built. The soul cannot be corrupted without the body bearing the cost. You do not have to witness it. You do not have to receive updates about their condition. You do not need to care. What matters is this: the nights that stole your peace have returned to their rightful owner. The rest they robbed from you is now withheld from them, and the peace they mocked in you is becoming the peace they can no longer find. The unraveling that begins in the night soon reaches the heart, for the heart is the organ most offended by deceit. The ones who wounded you now live in a state of constant internal tension, even if they smile, even if they speak boldly, even if they pretend nothing is wrong. The heart cannot sustain a life built on falsehood without demanding payment. Every deception increases the pressure. Every manipulation tightens the chest. Every act of pride strains the very rhythm meant to keep them alive. Their hearts were never designed to beat in a battlefield of their own making, yet that is exactly where they now reside. They walk through life as if everything is under control, but control is the very thing slipping through their fingers. Their pulse betrays them. Their breath betrays them. Their agitation betrays them. They attempt to maintain composure, but inside, the heart pounds as if preparing for a threat that does not exist outside of themselves. Peace cannot dwell in a heart at war with truth. Confidence cannot survive when built upon vanity and self-illusion. Stability cannot remain where dishonesty is the foundation. Their bodies now echo a spiritual law they cannot escape. What is sown in darkness matures in the body. It shows up as sudden irritability, unexplained anger, and irrational defensiveness. It shows up as pressure in the chest, tension in the shoulders, panic beneath the skin. These are not random symptoms. They are signals that the internal world they crafted is collapsing. For years, they suppressed humility, empathy, and responsibility. Now, suppression becomes suffocation. They refuse to acknowledge guilt, so guilt reshaped itself into anxiety. They rejected accountability, so accountability returned as physical strain. They denied wrongdoing, so wrongdoing carved itself into their hearts. They live in hypervigilance, scanning for threats, arguments, and challenges, because their souls can no longer distinguish between external danger and internal corruption. They brace for confrontation even when none exists. They operate in suspicion even toward those who mean them no harm. Their heart is a fortress under siege from the inside. Understand this: their turmoil is not your victory, nor is it your burden. It is simply the body revealing what the soul concealed for too long. While their hearts struggle under the weight of falseness, yours is being prepared for clarity, healing, and divine alignment. Their collapse is not your responsibility. Your restoration is your calling. What begins in the mind and erupts in the heart eventually spreads through the entire body, because the body refuses to carry lies without consequence. The ones who harmed you now feel this truth in ways they cannot articulate and cannot escape. Their stomach tightens because suppressed emotions ferment into acid. Their breath shortens because pretending demands more force than honesty. Their muscles ache because a false life is heavier than any burden they ever placed on you. Every unspoken resentment they nurtured, every selfish desire they protected, every cruel intention they acted upon now manifests in the very fibers of their being. The stomach, designed to process nourishment, is now forced to digest the bitterness it created. They feel burning, twisting, heaviness sensations no medicine truly relieves, because the source is spiritual, not physical. The breath, once taken for granted, now becomes a struggle. Shallow, pressured, incomplete. Pretending requires constant tightening of the chest, of the throat, of the posture. They must hold themselves together so no one sees the truth. But in doing so, they restrict the air meant to sustain them. Breath is the language of peace, and peace does not dwell within its walls. Their bodies are forced into survival mode, even when no danger is present, because the danger they fear is inside them, the truth they fought so long to avoid. Their muscles remain tense, their shoulders rise involuntarily, their jaw clenches without command. Chronic pain emerges because the soul's disorder demands physical expression. Pain is not random, it is communication. It is the body shouting what the conscience refused to whisper. They experience fatigue not from work, but from maintaining a facade. They feel heaviness not from responsibility, but from the weight of their own pretense. They search for relief in distractions, entertainment, control, new pursuits, but nothing settles, because the issue is not outside, it is within. Their energy drains faster than they can replenish it, because living falsely is the most exhausting labor in existence. Understand this: you are not witnessing divine punishment, you are witnessing divine honesty. The body becomes the evidence, the courtroom, and the sentence when truth is denied for too long. The disorders forming in their stomach, their breath, and their bones are not curses, they are revelations. They unveil the reality they buried while harming you. And while their bodies unravel under the weight of their deception, your body, once weary from their chaos, is being released from burdens that were never yours to carry. Their disintegration is the echo of their choices. Your healing is the answer to your endurance. As the body continues to reveal what the soul concealed, the next breakdown unfolds in a place far deeper than muscle or bone. It manifests in the realm of energy, emotion, and desire, the internal rhythms that once kept them steady. Hormonal imbalance is not random. It is the collapse of a system that can no longer support contradiction. The ones who harmed you now feel their inner light flickering, because no soul can endure double living without losing its vitality. What they suppressed emotionally has turned into chemical confusion. The adrenaline that once fueled their pride now corrodes their stability. The bursts of confidence they paraded have transformed into waves of irritability and lethargy. Their appetite swings wildly, grasping excessively one day, rejecting everything the next, because their soul is starving for truth it refuses to consume. Joy grows distant, enthusiasm feels artificial. Even accomplishments fail to satisfy. They can no longer escape themselves, for the emptiness they once projected onto others has returned home. They attempt to mask this hollowness with noise, speed, distraction, power, and attention, but everything they touch loses flavor quickly. The spark in their eyes dims, not from age, but from spiritual famine. A heart estranged from truth cannot sustain joy. A mind addicted to control cannot rest in gratitude. A soul built on pretense cannot feel genuine fulfillment. This is why Scripture warns that a house divided against itself cannot stand. Their inner world is crumbling because it was constructed on illusion. They feel disconnected from life, from purpose, from meaning. They wake without direction. They move without passion. They speak without authenticity. Depression does not arrive as tears. It arrives as emptiness. It arrives as numbness. It arrives as the slow realization that nothing they chase can fill what dishonesty has hollowed out. But understand this: their emptiness is not your burden to soothe. Their collapse is not your assignment to mend. You are witnessing the spiritual law unfolding, where pretense leads to depletion and truth leads to renewal. While their light dims, yours is being rekindled. Their loss of self is the harvest of their choices. Your rediscovery of self is the harvest of your endurance. There comes a point when the soul's disorder becomes too great for the body to contain, and the collapse reaches the most delicate architecture of all the nervous system. This is the moment when the ones who wounded you can no longer outrun the truth, for the truth has entered their very wiring. What began as sleepless nights, then spread into a restless heart, then invaded breath and bone, now erupts in trembling, weakness, and fragmentation. The nervous system is the conductor of human life. When it falters, the whole being follows. Their hands shake not because of age, but because of inner instability. Their thoughts scatter not because they are busy, but because their conscience is fractured. Their senses become overwhelmed, not by the world, but by the chaos they planted within themselves. They experience sudden dizziness, unexplained panic, and waves of fear without a visible source. The threat they feel is not outside them, it is inside. They crafted a life built on contradiction, and now the contradiction is short-circuiting the system meant to sustain them. They grow intolerant of silence because silence shows them who they are. They fear stillness because stillness exposes what they tried to bury. They become dependent on noise, conflict, movement, drama, anything that keeps them from hearing the truth echoing within. But the nervous system has limits, and theirs has reached its breaking point. Their world feels unstable because their inner world has shattered. Their reactions become unpredictable because their spiritual foundation has crumbled. Their life begins to feel unreal because they have lived in unreality for too long. Understand this and hold it with wisdom. Their downfall is not your revenge. Their fragmentation is not your triumph. It is simply the final consequence of denying truth. The nervous system collapses where the soul refuses alignment. While their inner world disintegrates, your spirit is being strengthened. Their breaking is the closing of their chapter. Your awakening is the opening of yours. Now the focus shifts not to their collapse, but to your calling. You must understand this with the gravity heaven intends. God did not allow you to witness these things, so you would become bitter, vengeful, or triumphant over another's downfall. He allowed you to see this contrast, so you would finally recognize who you are, why you were preserved, and where you are being led. Every tear you shed, every moment you questioned your worth, every night you wondered why you had to endure what others avoided. He was shaping you, strengthening you, setting you apart. There is nothing accidental about your survival. There is nothing ordinary about your resilience. Every time you refuse to become like those who hurt you, heaven marked it. Every time you choose compassion over cruelty, heaven records it. Every time you kept your heart soft when life tried to harden it, heaven smiled. Now the season has shifted. The battles behind you were meant to prepare the ground within you. Your spirit is being summoned to rise, and the voice calling you is not human, it is the same voice that spoke light into darkness. Listen closely. You are not defined by what they did to you. You are defined by what God is awakening in you. You are not the sum of your wounds. You are the vessel He has chosen to carry new wisdom. You are not an afterthought. You are an assignment. The pain you endured was not punishment. It was preparation. The isolation you felt was not abandonment. It was consecration. The breaking you survived was not destruction. It was transformation. Do not shrink back now. Do not return to environments that suffocated your spirit. Do not apologize for the clarity you carry. You have been called to step out into truth, into purpose, into a life that aligns with heaven's design for you. And hear this with conviction. The same God who separated Moses from Egypt, the same God who raised David from obscurity, the same God who called Gideon from hiding, is calling you now. My child, step out, He whispers. Step out from fear. Step out from shame. Step out from the places that wounded you. Step into the future I have written for you. You are not being rescued from your past. You are being released into your destiny. Their collapse is not your story. Your rise is. Your healing is. Your becoming. The turning has begun, and heaven is waiting for your yes. For 7 days, heaven invites you into a sacred process. 10 steps that will unhook your soul from the grip of those who harmed you, cleanse the residue of their influence, restore your spiritual authority, and align your life with the will of God. This is not punishment, and it is not ritual. It is the spiritual recalibration heaven uses to prepare chosen souls for their calling. On the first day, God asks you to speak truth, not to condemn others, but to free yourself. Name what wounded you. Name what bruised your trust. Name what you endured in silence. A wound that is spoken loses its power to define you, and as you speak, the lies they planted begin to loosen. You break the agreement with every voice that told you were not enough, every accusation that distorted your worth, every manipulation that tried to rewrite your identity. Heaven hears your rejection of these lies and honors it. Then, as the second day unfolds, you are invited to sever the invisible cords that still tie you to those who harmed you, not out of hatred, but out of liberation. You are not abandoning anyone. You are simply stepping out of a prison you did not build. You are reclaiming ownership of the places in your heart that were stolen. During the 3rd and 4th days, you will learn the sacred rhythm of release. In the morning, cleanse your mind with truth, 1 verse, 1 prayer, 1 breath of clarity before the world speaks. In the evening, cleanse your spirit, whisper forgiveness, not as permission for what they did, but as the key that unlocks your own freedom. You will feel your dreams shift. You will feel heaviness lift. You will feel your soul exhale. By the 5th day, something begins to change within you. You look in the mirror and recognize someone heaven has been shaping all along. Your identity returns, not the one shaped by wounds, but the one God authored before the world bruised you. You begin rebuilding the inner sanctuary that they once invaded. The mind that they confused becomes holy ground again. You protect it. You guard it. You refuse to let doubt or fear trespass there anymore. And as the 6th day rises, you finally allow God into the deepest places, the scars you hid, the memories you carried alone, the shadows you feared would never fade. You stop pretending you are fine and let Him touch what still hurts. Healing begins the moment you stop hiding. On the 7th day, the shift becomes undeniable. You step out of the past as if stepping out of old skin. You stop revisiting the rooms where you were broken. You stop rehearsing the pain. You stop giving power to those who never deserved to shape your destiny. You walk forward not as the wounded, but as the chosen, not as the one who survived, but as the one who is rising, not as the one defined by sorrow, but as the one anointed for purpose. This 7-day journey is not simply about forgetting what happened. It is about reclaiming who you are in the presence of God. It is the untangling of your soul from everything that tried to diminish it. It is the return of your life to the one who knows how to restore it. And as you complete it, heaven will meet you with a clarity, a peace, and a strength that cannot be imitated or stolen. For what once held you will hold you no more. What once followed you will fade. What once defined you will dissolve. You are stepping into alignment, into authority, into awakening. This is the week everything shifts. This is the week heaven activates you. This is the week your soul returns home. Let this be the moment your spirit stands fully awake. Let this be the hour heaven hears your yes. As you receive these words, do not treat them as poetry or comfort. Treat them as a covenant. Treat them as the binding agreement between your soul and the God who has carried you through every valley you did not think you would survive. Now, let us pray. Father, I come before you on behalf of the one reading this, the one you have chosen, protected, refined, and called by name. I lift their heart, their mind, their body, and their destiny. I thank you for sustaining them in seasons where others tried to break them. I thank you for preserving their softness in a world that hardened many. I thank you for keeping their spirit alive when darkness tried to silence it. Today, Lord, I ask that you release them from every burden that was never theirs to carry. Break every invisible chain formed through wounds, betrayal, manipulation, or fear. Loosen the weight that sat on their chest, the heaviness that hung behind their eyes, the exhaustion that wrapped around their bones. Let the things that once drained them lose all power over them. Let the memories that once haunted them become powerless shadows. Let the patterns they once repeated fall away like dust. God, pour your peace into every corner of their being. Let it reach the places no one sees, the private ache, the silent grief, the questions they never dared to voice. Restore their breath, their strength, their joy, their clarity. Restore what life tried to steal, what people tried to wound, what the enemy tried to distort. Make their body a sanctuary again, not a battlefield. Make their mind a place of still waters, not storms. Make their heart a space of truth, not confusion. And now, Lord, I ask that you open the future before them with undeniable clarity. Let them see the path you prepared while they were still in the dark. Awaken dormant gifts, revive dreams that were buried, ignite the courage that was suppressed. Show them the assignment that carries their name. Lead them toward the people who will honor them, value them, protect them, and rise with them. Remove them from environments that dishonor their spirit. Close every door that leads backward. Illuminate every door that leads forward. Let them walk through the right one with holy confidence. Father, I declare over them that the past will no longer dictate their identity. The wounds will no longer shape their decisions. The fears will no longer silence their voice. They are stepping out of survival and into purpose, out of sorrow and into wisdom, out of confusion and into revelation. They are no longer the ones who endured. They are now the ones who become. Let your blessing rest on them like a mantle. Let your protection surround them like a fortress. Let your light shine through them like a calling no darkness can imitate. Let your presence accompany them into every room, every decision, every relationship, every season ahead. And now, Lord, seal this transformation. Seal this awakening. Seal this identity. Let no force of darkness undo what you have spoken. Let no voice of doubt undo what you have confirmed. Let no shadow undo the rising you have begun. My child, walk in freedom, walk in clarity, walk in strength, walk in truth, walk into the dawn God has prepared for you. For the chapter behind you is closed, and the chapter before you has been written in glory. Amen.